Hey everyone, Matt Dollinger here for SI.com, back with the first NBA power rankings of the regular season. Look, 1 week of play is too small of a sample size to draw any real conclusions, but we can at least discuss at first impressions. So with that, let's get to the rankings. At number 30, we have a familiar face, the 76ers. Bravo, Sam Hinkie. If this was the Premier League, your team would have been relegated last season. Instead, back for more with an even worse roster. At number 29 are the Lakers, the worst team in the NBA. That's because the Sixers don't count. It's tough to imagine Kobe surviving this season, or at least tough to imagine his teammates surviving this season. Moving on up, the Nuggets fall to number 20 this week after losing to the Thunder despite Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook being in street clothes. Denver has playoff aspirations, but they won't last for long if similar losses follow. Speaking of the Thunder, Oklahoma City falls from number 9 to number 17 after losing Westbrook and 2 of its first 3 games. The playoffs are uncertain if Oklahoma City's role players can't keep this team around 500. Alright, let's try for a little bit of positivity. How about the Knicks? Opening night was as unwatchable as a JD and the Straight Shot concert, but New York responded miraculously by upsetting the Cavs on LeBron's homecoming night and beating the Hornets to boot. After last week, I have New York up from 21 to 12. Derek Fisher appears to have steadied the ship after Mike Woodson was lost at sea last season. As for notable teams in the top 10, we have the 3-0 Heat sneaking up to number 9 and the 3-0 Rockets up to number 6. The NBA was generous enough to give Houston 4 extra preseason games to start the season. Philly's up next. Moving into the top 5, we have the Grizzlies, who are already in mid-season form and at number 4. They beat the Hornets last week despite scoring just 71 points. And climbing all the way up to number 1, we've got the sweet shooting Warriors, who look like the cream of the NBA crop. Golden State has the best backcourt in the league, the best defense in the league, and a roster that's deep enough to compete even when Andre Iguodala is averaging less than 6 points per game. Steve Kerr appears well suited for the coaching ranks and could keep Golden State near the top of these rankings all season. It's still way too early to form opinions on all 30 teams, but a first glance at a few, like the Warriors and the Lakers, is enough to make convincing first impressions. For SI.com, I'm Matt Dollinger.